Hi, Julie Torrens here. I've got my little Dilutions all acrylic journal, the one I've been working on, and PM Artist Studios in their Facebook group. They have another color challenge and it's yellow and Prussian blue. So I've got my cadmium yellow medium hue. I've got some titanium white. Then I've got cadmium light instead of medium. I don't have any tube of paint that's called Prussian blue, but knowing what Prussian blue kind of looks like, this is as close as I can come. So this is a Jane Davenport. She doesn't have a color name on it. It was bought in a set, but we're going to use that. And then I've got ivory black. So from what I gathered, and I'm going to get started here while I jibber jabber, what I gathered about this challenge was that we're supposed to use the Prussian, I have a hard time saying it, Prussian blue as is. We can take the yellow and do whatever we want, but leave the blue as it is. That was the gist of it that I got. And you know, there's no rules, but I appreciate a challenge, and so I'm going to give it a go. So what was I thinking of? What was I thinking? Well, and by the way, this page has been gessoed. I was thinking that I would make a fish. This Prussian blue reminds me of water, and I think it can be awfully cool. So I'm just putting it on straight, no white, no nothing. Now, as the paint goes on, if we've got some kind of high spots and low spots, that's fine, because the water would be glistening, you know, depending on how deep we are in the water and just all that. So I am not worried about like getting little higher or little lower colors here and there. Now, what I am thinking about is I'm trying to keep my brush strokes all going horizontal. And the reason for that is I just feel like that will give it more of a water feel, don't you think? I'm just trying to get this lid on. There we go. So yeah, I guess the next time I'm looking at paint, I should get a Prussian blue. It's really almost to me like a phthalo blue, which this is strong. Phthalo is strong, but almost like that it has a little bit of black in it. But it's not an indigo. It's not like that, which when I think of indigo, I think of almost ink. Now this paint dries very, very matte, which I like. It makes it easier to layer. But they don't make this paint anymore, so don't even look for it. But Jane Davenport has a whole new line of paints out. Well, new to me. I haven't bought any yet. Don't know that I will. But no reason that I'm saying that other than I just have an awful lot of paint. She has a line of gesso, colored gessos, which I think, you know, when I think of that, I think of it would probably be awfully matte. So I think that would be cool. Now this dries pretty fast. In any place that it doesn't look to me like it was just thin, like there's shine in the water. It just looks like I missed painting there. That's what I'm just like right here. It's just the gesso showing. It doesn't add artistic anything to it. All right, I'm going to rinse this out. Give it just a second to dry. And then I'm going to try, there's the operative word, to see if I can kind of draw with a pencil on this enough that I can see. I'll show you. I was just kind of looking at different fish. So I drew this as just kind of a little bit of a guide for me to see if I can, I don't know, do something with that. Now I'm going to take This is kind of a seaweed. It's a stencil from PM Artist Studios, and I thought I would just add some of this in black. So yeah, subtle, very subtle, but just to give the painting a little bit of movement. So I'm just putting a little bit of black on my paper plate that I like to use a paper plate as a palette. And I've got some little cosmetic sponges here, and I'm just going in, and I'm just gonna see. Maybe it won't show at all, but I'm kind of hoping it will. Boy, that's making that just flip and flop. Well, you know what? It is what it is. Let's just see what we get. I've used the stencil before, but I've always used it with ink. It's all right. Might it look a little wonky? Well, you're looking through water, right? So that's okay. Let's just see what we've got. Oh, that's fine. Can you see it? Let me see if I bring it up to you. Can you see like a little bit of the seaweed there? Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's do another one. Put one over here. And we don't have to go as high. You know, we can change it up a bit. We don't want it to look like bookends. And I think what I'll do is I'll just go up this one here and then leave it. I don't want to stick my finger straight into that black paint. Okay, see, that looks fine. That looks great. Okay, I've got another one. Let's get this one. And maybe put some of this in here. What do you say? Are you with me? Let's give it a go. Get this one way up here. Okay, so I'm following the directions by using just the Prussian blue and black so far. Can you see? Like I said, it's subtle, but it's definitely there. Okay, good. Let's just set these aside, not putting them too far away. Now, like I said, do you think a pencil's going to show? I just don't know. Well, all I can do is try, right? So, oh yeah. I mean, maybe you can't see it, and I'm mostly just looking at a shine. And it's not going to be exact. We all know that. Okay. And just kind of bring this tail this way. And this is almost like it's this kind of a separate bit of tail. Okay. Now there's a pretty high one up here. And then there's a couple down here. One that comes kind of this way, and one that comes more like from behind maybe, or way under. Okay, don't know if you can see that. And then I don't want to forget the eye. All right, let's give it a go, right? What do we got to lose? Okay, I'm going to set this picture aside because I don't think it's going to do for me any more than it's already done. Now, obviously, I can't paint a goldfish gold because, you know, goldfish are really kind of yellow. So I'm going in with my palette. I got a couple of Poscas here on the side. I'm going to go into my paper plate / palette, and I'm going to put this medium yellow, cadmium yellow. Now it says hue, and what that means is that it's a dye instead of the actual cadmium, because cadmium is poison. Now, you know, I don't generally eat paint. As a matter of fact, I never eat paint that I know of. And it's mostly if you breathe in cadmium, like maybe if you were doing some kind of a airbrushing or something like that, which again, that's not me. But you know what? Be cautious, right? Now this is clear gesso. As these fins splay out like they do, you can kind of see through them. And so I wanted to get some clear gesso on my plate because I don't believe in watering down acrylics severely. I think you're risking it chipping off, flaking off later because you're just watering down the whole thing too much. All right, I want to get the blue out of this. And the only reason why is because if it's the liquidy blue, it'll really translate green. Now, I want to get some titanium white as well because we're allowed to mix up our yellows. They were like any shade of yellow, but Prussian blue. So, okay, I'm going to start with this lightest yellow. I hope you can see. I'm starting with the lightest yellow. I'm going to add some white to it. And then I'm going to add some of this gesso to it. Now the gesso will not change the acrylic makeup, or if it does, it won't do it in a harmful way, like, you know, harming the binders and what have you. But just using water will. So I'm going to start with these fins because, like I said, they're kind of transparent, and I'm just going to take my brush, kind of treating it like a, I don't know, like calligraphy. I can't do calligraphy, but you know what I mean. I've got some water on the ferrule. I'm still suffering with that cold, and I can tell my voice is trying to go already, but hey, I can't keep missing you guys like I do. I'm going to be here. A little more paint. I'm just kind of twisting and turning my brush to try to give it a, I don't know, a flowy feel. Yep. Now maybe you're saying to yourself, well, this poor fish needs some medicine in his water. I hope not. I hope not. Okay, so I like that. I think that looks cool. Now I'm going to work on this top fin. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Are we getting anything good going on here? Okay. All right. Now for the fish body. I think I want to have it be somewhat white and somewhat yellow. So I'm going to rinse my brush out. And I'm going to start with some white. And drying this brush out pretty good. I want to get some of this thick white. Thick paint tends to stick well to thin paint. Thick paint will stick to this. I think it's like the thick paint will stick to the thin. I think that's the way that rule kind of goes. So I'm just gonna first just give it a little few flicks of this white into this fin. Same here. Same here. And a little more to the tail. Oh, if you can hear a dog barking, that dog lives below me and one apartment over. And that dog is so loud. Now I'm in a pet-free apartment. I didn't pick that. It was what was available at the time. But I never intended to have pets. Not that I don't love pets, but working the long shifts that I do, I just felt like it would never be fair. It would be selfish for me to try to have a pet. Nobody home too much. Okay, I like that. Now I'm going to just put in the fish body, starting out with white. I seem to have picked up some yellow. I'm not sure where. It's okay though. Okay. Then I'm going to, not even taking the white out of my brush, I'm going to head right into this medium yellow. No clear gesso. Now, the scales will be kind of going from the front to the back. So I'm going to try to have my brush strokes now going from the front of the fish to the back. And the scales towards the front of the fish are going to be on top of the scales in the back. Do you know what I mean? Like the way shingles would go. And we can maybe define this just a little more with the smaller brush. I don't know. I'm kind of liking it just the way it is. All right, now, not changing my brush. I'm just going to maybe wipe some of this paint off. Now I'm going to go into the medium hue. And keep going. So I really should be starting from the back and moving towards the front. Yep. And if you think, well, you know, I can kind of see the blue through it. Well, you got to think about, you would be looking at this fish through water, right? So there's going to be that. I haven't really decided what to do with the fish's face. What color? Let's rinse this off. I would rather get smaller brush. I think I'm going to go back to this lightest yellow that I used on the fins and at least get one coat of paint there. Now I'm going to clean up that eye, but I want to kind of remember. Now I'm going to just move this again in the direction that scales would go. Now somewhere in here are gills. I didn't get that deep into into the subject to really know. I think I'm going to give it just another row like this. Okay, now we've kind of got this blue line happening here and here. I'm going to see what I can do about that. I think I'm going to just go straight into this white. I got water coming down my brush. Right in. Okay. And I think I'm going to use the darker. There's still white on my brush. I'm going to use the darker on this where the tail joins. And I've just got some blue. Again, it looks like I just didn't pay attention and I missed spots. It doesn't look artistic, so I want to do something about, and that's that seam of my journal. Wow, I really slid over. Oh, good heavens, I hope that you guys can see. Okay, now getting the darker here and the darker here. Okay. What do you think? Not bad. Not bad for the first time I ever tried to paint a fish. Yeah, it looks kind of good. All right, now I want that white to dry more. The white that's in here. And I want to get, maybe I'll go back to that same brush. I want to just clean up the eye area just a little bit. And I think I'm going to use this darkest color. And I'm going to mix it with a little bit of the gesso so that I can just have it be a little more fluid. Now, the fish have a mouth that you can tell. So I'm just going to give it a little mouth like that, just a little bit. Okay, I am seeing too much brush strokes, too much blue, but it's not looking artistic to me. I'm going in with the yellow and I'm just going to give it another coat. And if we've got varying shades of yellow, that's fine with me. Get some of this light yellow, get some more of the gesso, because I don't mind the gesso. Okay, now same thing with the darker yellow. Rinsing my brush, grabbing some of this darker yellow. Too much water got in there. Some gesso in there. Now the gesso can change the color a little bit like white would, because it does look white when it's wet, but when it's dry, the color will come back because the gesso dries clear. So it's not going to make the color lighter, but just more transparent. But for a second coat here, I don't mind that. Okay. Well, fish, you're looking good to me. All right, now, this brush that I'm rinsing is suffering with that blue. And it's again why I think there's some phthalo in that color, because boy, is it strong. All right, I'm going back to this flat brush. I'm going to get it as dried off as I can. I want the lightest of yellow, which I have right here. And I'm going to add some white. And I'm just going to take some of it and I want to add some gesso because I want it thin, like sheer. Okay, now I've got too much paint on my brush because I want to I want it to get like this, I don't know, lacy kind of a look. Yeah, good. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. All right, now I am going to take, I've got this strange brush, Royal Langnickel. Not in my mind notorious for being a real highfalutin art supply company, but I like this brush. I think it came in a kit that I had bought because it was like at a thrift store, and you know, it was like for kids. At Christmas, you buy those kits of paints and paper, and you know, you've got the whole studio in one wooden box. They're cool, but I think I've just bought one for the fun of it, and then that was in it. I'm going to take this little dagger brush, and I'm just going to try to add some little veiny parts to this. I've got white and I've got gesso, the clear gesso, and I'm just trying to add some, I don't know, movement a little bit more. Get some more. Yeah, okay. I'm going to bring this around and I'm going to do the same with this tail. And I'm just trying to follow the lines that we already have, like in the directions that this is all going. I'm going to do the same to this upper fin. I'm going into the clear gesso, adding a little bit of white. I don't want it to just vanish. And just following the lines that we already have. Too much paint on the brush. Okay. How do you like my little fantasy fish? I think it's kind of pretty. Okay, now rinsing this brush out. Rinsing it again. Okay, now, what do I want to do? I think the first thing I want to do is I'm going to go in here with this Posca, white Posca, and I'm just going to, and this is acrylic paint, so if I'm getting acrylic on this nib, it's fine, because it's acrylic with acrylic. And I'm just going to clean this up to make it a white circle. And then I'm going to just there, give it that little bit of a mouth shape. Okay, now, here's where it gets a little scary, folks. I'm going to come back with this. Remember these? Maybe this one. And just get a little bit in front of the fish. I think that'll help put it in the water. And I'm going to use this Prussian blue, or my version of it. So, kind of scary. I'm feeling it, but let's just see. Let's just see. I don't have to go nuts. Just a little bit nuts. Okay, going in. I hope you can see something of this. Getting nothing. There we go. All right, let's see what we've done. I don't mind that. Wow, let me know in the comments what you think. Okay, a little bit more, like maybe just right here. Some blue on here. Okay, let's see. Good. I think that pushes the fish back nicely. I feel like it could use one more. Maybe I'll use this one back here. Okay, here goes. I don't know where to hold it down. I think this stencil is called maybe seaweed or something of that nature. I will put the link to their webpage where you can order it, but I got it as a part of a package, and I think this particular one in my hand is one of their perfect imperfects because it was just like an extra in my bag. So, all right, let's see. Yes. Yes. I think that's looking good. Okay, now I want to finish up its eye. And I'm going to give it a shine like that. Okay. Now, I think we need something going on in here. I am going to go in. I want the darker, because this is the darker. So I want that darker yellow. And I don't want to add black because that will give me green. And I don't want to do that. Let's just go into this full bore. And I'm going to turn it this way and see if I can just, I don't know, make it look more scales like, or something. I don't know. I just don't like the way it looks. I know that working here in the gutter, in the ditch of my journal doesn't help, but that doesn't explain all of this. And I'm liking it better already. Good. Now I want to get some light. I'm going to get some more white over here into this yellow, which this is this light yellow. I'm going to add just ever so slightly some gesso because I want it to be more fluidy. Okay. And let's work on this body just a little bit more. And I'm gonna put some marks of going across. I've got too much water on the ferrule. Just wipe off the back of my brush. Yep. That is helping me like this better. I'm going to give some marks like this. Yep. I like that. I'm going into this dark, and I'm going to put some dark in here. I just felt like the fish is looking too flat. I'm liking that a lot better. Okay, I'm going up in here. It makes it sound like I'm going in the attic. Yeah. There we go. There we go. Okie doke. So we've got a fish in some water. All right, now I am grabbing my yellow Posca. And I'm just going to see. Yep. Just cleaning up some edges. I kind of like this all wispy and not so great of edges. But right in here. I like that better. Maybe the back part of the fin too. Let's clean that up a little bit. All right, I think the mouth would be a little more distinct. So I'm going to give it just a smile. Oh, Julie. We'll just leave it like that. Yeah, a little bit of a smile. Oh, that's crazy. Okay. I'm tempted to make some black lines, but I really don't want to. And like I said, if I mix yellow with black, I'm going to get green. But I would just like, I don't know, a little more, I'm leaning back, a little more definition. Okay, I'm going to try one thing. Going back into the titanium white, adding a little gesso, just to make it a little more fluid. Again, the gesso I'm using is clear. I'm going to give it what do you think? I'm just adding this white line like that. A little more gesso, a little more titanium white. And now this is like fuzzy blurry, but this one, no, it wasn't. Okay. Okay. Well, I think it's fine. I wish I could add something else, but what? I don't know that they really, I wouldn't know what to add. I guess I would have to think about it a lot more, but with the colors that were allowed in the meantime, if I do something more to it, I'll let you know, but what it would be, I don't know. Let's see if we can just get a signature. Well, thank you for joining me on this color challenge. I will leave links as far as how to get to the makers of mixed media art and artists in the Facebook group, and as well as PM Artist Studios, where I got these seaweed stencils. In the meantime, please consider thumbs up for liking and subscribe, share it with your friends. I look forward to seeing you all in another video. Bye now.